So long as we represent technology as an instrument, we remain held fast in the will to master it. Martin Heidegger invites us to urgently rethink technology, not merely as tools to master and instruments to use, but as forces shaping our very perception of existence. In today's world, technology influences nearly every facet of our lives, affecting how we think, feel, and perceive reality. It has become so intertwined with our lives that it's now hard to imagine life without it. As our dependence grows, the question is, are we mastering technology, or is it mastering us? Let's explore how we can take back control and live more authentically in a world of digital distractions. How much control do we have over technology? Are we using technology, or is it using us? Martin Heidegger was a pivotal 20th century philosopher whose work explores the nature of being and our relationship with the world. In his book, The Question Concerning Technology, Heidegger attempts to provoke a deep reflection on the nature of technology and its influence on human existence. He challenges the common perception of technology as merely a set of instruments that we control and use, instead highlighting that technology involves a way of revealing or understanding the world. For Heidegger, technology reveals the world in a particular way, one that can distance us from authentic human experiences. Technology, while problematic, isn't inherently bad. It's the way that it's used that leads to distortion. This way of revealing isn't neutral. It fundamentally shapes not only how we interact with the world, but how we experience and understand it. Nowhere is this more evident than in our relationship with social media. Think about a time when you were scrolling through social media, gripped by each and every swipe, determined to get that next hit of dopamine. The manipulation of attention via algorithms, addiction to dopamine-driven content, the impact on our attention span, and the alienation that arises from the overuse of digital tools is unfortunately something most of us fall victim to. Social media is engineered to be this way, to be as addictive as possible. It is you versus a team of psychologists all working to turn your attention into profit. Whether it's social media, online shopping, or entertainment platforms, the internet treats human attention as a commodity, reducing complex ideas or people to bite-sized content for consumption. This can misrepresent ideas, therefore limit and distort human understanding. How often do we stop to question whether we're truly in control or merely following the path that technology reveals for us? It's time to start asking and answering that question. Heidegger makes a distinction between Techne and modern technology. Techne is an ancient Greek term that refers to art, craft, or the skill of creation, especially in harmony with nature. It's a way of making that is aligned with the world, reflecting a deeper connection. Think of traditional craftsmanship or the building of something from natural materials, where the process and the product maintain a connection to the earth. Modern technology, on the other hand, shifts from a creative craft to a more instrumental utilitarian approach. It is no longer about producing things that fit harmoniously into the world, but about controlling nature and utilizing it for human benefit. In ancient craftsmanship, Techne wasn't merely about producing objects. It was crafting with a reverence for the materials and the world around us. Think of an artisan shaping clay or carving wood, the process a reflection of a harmonious relationship with the environment. Today, modern technology, with its emphasis on speed and efficiency, often disconnects us from the process, reducing creation to a mechanized procedure that disregards the intrinsic value of the natural world. Instead of creating with nature, technology often works against it, seeking only to harness and control. Heidegger argues that this shift causes us to see the world only as a resource to be exploited. It imposes a framework of enframing, reducing everything, including human beings, nature, and the world itself, to mere resources or standing reserve to be controlled, managed, and optimized. Enframing encourages us to see everything, from natural resources to human beings, not as living entities with intrinsic value, but as commodities to be extracted and optimized for human use. In our world today, this enframing is evident in how social media and algorithms manipulate our attention, turning us into users whose value is reduced to the data we generate. Consider how a platform like Instagram or TikTok creates content not to inform, but to keep users engaged, shaping our worldviews based on what will capture our attention. Rather than enhancing authentic experiences, it fragments and distorts our perception, reducing us to mere consumers of content. This is a shift from the earlier sense of Techne, where there was a more holistic relationship between humans and the things they created. Where Techne sought harmony, modern technology, by contrast, often fractures our connection to the natural world, reducing it to a means to an end. The focus on efficiency and control diminishes our ability to experience the world in its full richness. Heidegger's concept of enframing is the idea that technology doesn't just serve us, it structures our worldview and shapes us into passive consumers of information. Enframing is a way of revealing the world as a standing reserve, that is, a collection of resources to be exploited, which could be linked to the idea of technology controlling not just information, but our entire understanding of existence. Every time you get a notification or see a new post, it's like a promise of something new. You think maybe this time it will be something important, something that matters to me. But the more you interact with the platform, the more you get sucked into this cycle of constantly checking without ever really feeling satisfied. Heidegger warns about technology's ability to dehumanize and limit authentic experience. When we scroll through social media, we see only the best moments, the holiday pictures, the happy achievements. But this doesn't reflect the full picture of someone's life. It's like seeing a highlight reel where only the perfect moments are shown and the rest is left out. This distorts our understanding of others and ourselves. We start comparing our entire lives to a few moments someone else decided to share, which can make us feel like we're not measuring up. Technology doesn't just show us reality, it gives us a version of it that's distorted. Enframing doesn't just distort how we view others, but also how we view ourselves, transforming us into beings whose value is tied to external validation. It frames our world so that we don't see it as it is, but as something to be manipulated, consumed, perfected, or exploited. The more we focus on what's in front of the screen, the less we focus on the world around us. This is what enframing does. It keeps us from experiencing life directly, turning everything into something that can be measured, sold, or consumed. We start to measure our worth against these highly curated images, which leads to comparison and alienation. Social media is engineered to feed this ego, creating a race for validation through likes and shares. This makes us forget that true connection and self-worth aren't measured by digital metrics. In platforms like Uber, TaskRabbit, or Amazon, workers are often reduced to metrics, ratings, earnings per hour, or tasks completed, rather than being seen as full human beings. This reduction of workers to standing reserve echoes Heidegger's concern that technology forces us to view the world and people as tools for efficiency and utility. While social media exemplifies how enframing distorts our self-image and interpersonal connections, its effects stretch far beyond the digital world. In the gig economy, workers are treated as disposable resources to be optimized, much like the data we generate on social media. Meanwhile, the rise of surveillance capitalism turns our personal lives into commodities for sale, echoing Heidegger's warning about technology's dehumanizing influence. The very frameworks that reduce us to data points also influence larger systems, like the military-industrial complex, where technology is used not only to optimize, but to control and dominate. How can we, in an age of ubiquitous technology, recover our authentic relationship to the world? Is it possible to re-establish the kind of Techne, the craftsmanship and art that Heidegger thought would reconnect us to nature? Consider nuclear weaponry, technology that has the power to completely annihilate humanity. Heidegger saw such advancements as a threat to human existence, not just because they could end life, but because they fundamentally alter how we understand life and death. In a world of nuclear threats, existence becomes defined by potential destruction and war rather than meaningful engagement with the world. Nuclear weapons are not just tools of power, but symbols of the technological worldview that seeks to control everything at the most extreme level. As the historian Richard Rhodes states in The Making of the Atomic Bomb, the development of nuclear weapons shifted the entire nature of warfare from the act of physical combat to the threat of complete annihilation, a perfect embodiment of Enframing. Artificial intelligence is another poignant example of technology that frames our existence in ways we do not fully comprehend. Where humans once made decisions based on experience, judgment, and emotion, AI replaces these human faculties with algorithms that process data. In doing so, AI erodes our freedom by reducing the complexity of human choice to simple computational tasks. AI systems like those used in social media or decision-making processes don't just guide our actions, but frame our decisions as well, dictating what is deemed important, relevant, or worth our attention. The loss of decision-making autonomy, as noted in Shoshana Zuboff's The Age of Surveillance Capitalism, is one example of how AI and surveillance technologies frame human existence by dictating our actions, thoughts, and behaviors. Online pornography represents another distortion brought on by technology. What should be an intimate human experience is commodified and reduced to something to be consumed. Instead of nurturing authentic human relationships, pornography reinforces a distorted view of sex as an activity for personal pleasure, leading to a loss of the understanding of the true purpose of intimate connection. If technology is profoundly shaping the way we think, act, and feel, the question is, can we still say we are truly free? Heidegger's philosophy challenges us to rethink freedom in a world where technology doesn't just serve us, but shapes us. The question then becomes, how do we reclaim our freedom in a world where the lines between human agency and technological influence are increasingly blurred? This brings us to the concept of releasement, Heidegger's idea of letting go of the desire to control and manipulate everything, which contrasts with the compulsive drive for mastery embedded in technology. Releasement encourages a more passive and open relationship with the world, one where we don't try to dominate or control, but allow things to unfold naturally. While technology is deeply embedded in our lives, there might be a way to resist its dehumanizing effects. This doesn't mean rejecting technology altogether, but instead engaging with it in a more mindful way. For instance, mindful use of technology, such as setting boundaries for screen time or choosing more authentic forms of connection, could be framed as a way to reclaim some degree of agency. Reflect on how you engage with technology in your life. Are you using technology intentionally or being used by it? The first step to navigating technology more mindfully is slowing down. Don't fall into the trap of unconsciously scrolling and consuming. When you do use technology, have a clear reason why. Set clear, meaningful goals for why and how you interact with technological devices. This will make it easier to stick to what is important rather than getting distracted. Dedicate time to digitally detoxing, taking time away from technology, interacting with the real world, and embracing nature. This can provide refreshment, allowing you to re-engage with technology with more awareness and clarity. Don't tie your identity to your technology or digital devices. Instead of letting technology define you, use it in a way that complements your sense of self and serves a higher purpose. Choose consciously what you give your attention to and what you consume. Remember, technology is not just a tool, it shapes your very worldview. Ask yourself with each thing you engage with, what will be the result of this? Instead of engaging with technology that promotes passive consumption, choose platforms or devices that encourage learning and creativity. Heidegger warns that if we fail to engage thoughtfully with technology, we risk losing our capacity to experience the world authentically. Mindful and wise use of technology begins with the awareness of its power and the influence it can have on our lives. By choosing to use technology more mindfully, we take the first step forward to reclaiming our agency and freedom. If you found this video helpful, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on future content like this. Join our growing community of like-minded individuals committed to living more thoughtfully and intentionally. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.